Everyone, amazing to be back here with you all. My name is Sunday, and I am a member of Untitled Chapter. After yesterday's session, in which we reviewed the 2022 cohort of Restoration Stewards Program and heard from current and new members of Restoration Alliance, today we will dive into the ways that sustainable financing can support restoration action on ground. For those of you who joined for the first time, Restoration Alliance brings together community-led and action-oriented groups within the Global Landscape Forum. Whether that's by planting trees, recovering coral reefs, connecting stakeholders, or creating a local community of action, the Restoration Alliance represents the frontline actions of GLF that work towards scaling the sustainability of landscape around the world and contribute to global efforts under the UN Decade on ecosystem restoration. We are happy to have here with us today Mariam Kil, Head of Sustainable Finance at the group Crédit Agricole du Maroc. Welcome, Mariam. Thank you for joining us. In the last few days, we have asked the Restoration Alliance community, both the Restoration Stewards and the GLF chapters, to share questions that they would like to ask you. We have gathered the most common ones among the ones we received, and it would be lovely if you can share your thoughts with us. So Maria, as a head of sustainable finance at the group Crédit Agricole du Maroc, you are probably getting involved with designing and delivering financial products to support sustainable development projects. Could you share with us some details about what it is that you look for in a project in order for your department to support it?
Thank you, Sunday. Thank you for inviting me. I'm very happy to be part of the session today. So first of all, maybe because we are part of a bank which has a public service mission in financing agriculture, our main focus is on greening the investment in the agricultural sector and how we can help the transition to occur from traditional, let's say, agriculture practices to more innovative and resilient food systems. So what we're looking for is maybe for adaptation as a first impact, because as you know, Morocco is an arid to semi-arid region, and therefore we have already started facing the effects of climate change as in most African countries. So it is very important to help our farmers adapt to the effects of climate change. I can give some examples of products and on the way we finance this adaptation. We have products, financial products to finance irrigation and mainly drip irrigation so that we can optimize the water use efficiency. And these are medium to long-term investments that we can finance. We also finance long-term investment in tree planting, because tree planting have several benefits. Of course, carbon sequestration, as you know, but also they are more adapted in some regions like oasis. We can finance palm trees, which are more adapted than horticulture or than cereals, of course. So these are the type of projects we finance. But at the same time that we're financing these projects, which are now getting mainstream, we also tend to innovate in the way we help the transition to occur. And we have launched a new program that gives other incentives to the farmers, because we want them to take more risks maybe and to change their practices. Then we have to incentivize them and also to provide technical assistance. And this is what we're doing in a new program called Stidama, which means sustainability. And it is a program supported by Agence Française de Développement that aims the whole agri value chain from raw production to processing to agri waste management, and that finances energy efficiency investments as well as organic farming and waste management.
This is excellent, Mariam, and I really want to appreciate the diversity in your funding approach. The restoration stewards and JLF chapters are both programs with very strong youth leadership. Could you share some advice on different ways that youth-led organizations and other small grassroots NGOs, including indigenous-led organizations, can have access to stable funding to consolidate and develop their projects?
Okay, so maybe the good information is that financial institutions and government are more and more aware every day on the fact that we have to support youth engagement, specifically in climate change, in the fight against climate change. In Africa, as you know, youth represent the major part of our population, and if we want to be efficient in the way we tackle the effects of climate change, then we have to encourage youth. So I can give some major recommendations. The first one would be on the youth stimulus. I mean that in the past we used to focus as financial institutions on the capacities, on the know-how, while today it's more about the idea, the motivation, the soft skills. So this is a good thing for youth. They have to be very at ease when they talk with financial institutions, because we're not looking at their curriculum, but rather at who they are and are they able to manage a project and to carry it on. The second thing that is important is the way they structure themselves. Financial institutions are very comfortable with other structures and institutions, so it has to be clear whether you are an entrepreneur, a cooperative, an association, and each one of these has to be structured. For example, when you're looking at a loan, a banker has to know whether you are a cooperative. If you are a cooperative, are you registered? Do you need an authorization, and did you get it? And all this process, and also the governance part of it. If you're an association, do you have your status? Did you organize all your general assembly and other governance bodies? This is something also that we're looking at. The third thing would be that you need to know your environment, because there are institutions that can help you maybe in terms of networking, in terms of capacity building, in terms of sometimes getting guarantees. This is very important. I think in all over Africa, you have more and more institutions. They can be NGOs, they can be foundations or government entities, public entities that will help you build your project and get access to subsidies or to advice, to the market, etc. And then the last thing is the financing. So you have to know exactly what you need. What are your needs? That means, do you need a donation? Do you need equity? Do you need debt? And depending on that, you target the financial institution you're talking with. And the other good news is that you have other ways to finance rather than traditional institutions. Now you have also the crowdfunding, impact funds. So these are also new ways to encourage and to support the youth in their projects.
Thank you so much, Maria. As a young person, believe me, this excellent response really gives me hope. And I can't just afford to have the opportunity, like most other youths in Africa, to have funding that will enable us to consolidate and develop our projects. Now, our next question is a more broad one. Ecological restoration as a set of economic activities does not consistently fit within any single traditional economic sector. However, the United Nations Environment Programme has found that for every dollar spent on nature restoration, at least $9 of economic benefits can be expected to be taken in the next decade and beyond to transition to an economical model that puts people and nature first and invest in landscape restoration.
Yes, you are totally right. Natural capital actually is a new class asset or asset class. It attracts more and more investors, but still it has to be more mainstream than it is now. So natural capital asset encompasses sustainable production. So that means sustainable agriculture, agroforestry, agroecology, regenerative agriculture. It has also nature regeneration, restoration and rehabilitation of ecosystems, and conservation, so the protection of ecosystems. So all these is gathered under the natural capital asset class. So how can we make it more mainstream? We need first to document it. That means that we have to construct the track record to have more information, to document the process, to document the underlying economic model, and prove that investment in this asset class can bring benefits to the environment and benefits on the financial returns. The second point is to scale up and to try to reach more and more projects and to attract more and more capital. And finally, we have to measure because what we're looking at is to have the impact, and we have to develop tools to help us measure the impacts we're having. So these are some quick ideas on how we can mainstream this asset class. But at the same time, as you know, any project takes place in an ecosystem, and we have to act also on this ecosystem. For example, if we set up regulations, then we change the way the market behaves. I can give two short examples. The first one is the subsidies on fossil fuels. If we reduce or cut off the subsidies on fossil fuels, we know that investment in the renewable energies will be more profitable. And the carbon tax. And the carbon tax, for example, that has been set up in the European Union had a direct impact on the way the investors perceive investing in the decarbonization. And this is something we have already noticed in Morocco, because now when you talk to an investor, to an agri operator, he knows that he has to decarbonize his process, and he's willing to invest in that so that he can gain competitivity. So regulation is also very critical.
That's excellent. Madam, thank you so much for that response. And I think Morocco is a pace setter. In this, I really appreciate that. Then the current COP26 comes, the agreement stipulated that the so-called developed countries should continue to provide public financing for addressing climate change by investing in adaptation and mitigation to the so-called developing countries, who have historically contributed less to the climate crisis. All climate summits that follow the Paris Agreement have generally attempted to create regulations to monitor the finances provided by the developed countries. But the goal has been constantly pushed, currently expected to be reached in 2025. COP26 is also expected to discuss that. What are your hopes and expectations in that front from the COP26 discussion?
Well, of course, the first hope is that we can get a strong commitment from all countries to cut off their carbon emissions so that we can align to the Paris Agreement objective of 1.5 increase by the end of the century. So this is the very first hope. The second one, as an agri practitioner, what I would like to see is a strong commitment also towards family farming. We know that family farming can help strongly in building resilient food systems. So this is something that has to be recognized by the countries, and in addition to that, they have to mobilize the funding so that we can support these family farms. And of course, maybe the fact that the COVID crisis has shown that countries are able to mobilize funding when it is needed is a positive thing. So now we know it is possible. It has been done. It has to be done again.
Thank you so much, Mariam. That was a good conclusion. It has been done, and it can be done again. Thank you so much for that. I also want to thank you for sharing your thoughts and knowledge with us. We really appreciated your presence. That acts Unveiling the Restoration Alliance. We hope that you felt not only inspired by the action on the ground that is already taking place across different landscapes, but also hopeful and motivated that you can take action yourself. We're also inviting you to stay connected with the Global Landscape Forum, the Youth in Landscape Initiative, and the different social media accounts of the Restoration Stewards and the GLF chapters to learn more about the Restoration Alliance in the next few months. Don't forget to tune in later today at 6:15 GMT for the GLF Climate Closing Plenary, Frontiers of Change, to be inspired and challenged by climate champions from the grassroots to the global. Stay safe, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.